Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today that most people don't want to hear, but everybody needs to understand. Being attractive is not about your face, your money, or how loud you talk. And mental strength is not about pretending you don't feel pain. Real attractiveness and real strength start on the inside. They show up in your habits, in what you do every single day when nobody is watching. See, the world is full of talented people who never make it because they don't have discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. When you can wake up on time, handle your responsibilities, and stay consistent, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, other people feel it. Confidence grows naturally when you keep promises to yourself. And confidence is attractive without you saying a single word. Now let me talk to you about emotional control. Everybody gets angry. Everybody gets frustrated. When not everybody lets their emotions run the show. When you learn how to pause, how to breathe, how to respond instead of react, you separate yourself from the crowd. People who can stay calm in chaos are rare. They don't need to argue loudly, prove themselves, or explain their worth. Their presence alone commands respect. That calm strength draws people toward you because it feels safe, it feels mature, and it feels powerful. Another habit that will change your life is keeping your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you'll be somewhere, show up. Your word is your bond. When people know they can count on you, you become valuable. And let me tell you something, value is attractive. Mentally strong people don't make excuses every time things get hard. They adjust, they adapt, and they finish what they start. That kind of reliability builds a reputation money can't buy. You also have to commit to growing every day. Read something, learn something, improve something about yourself. The strongest minds are always hungry to get better. When you stop learning, you start shrinking. Growth keeps your mind sharp and your spirit alive. People are naturally drawn to someone who is evolving, someone who isn't stuck complaining about yesterday, but preparing for tomorrow. Now listen to me closely. Mentally strong people have boundaries. They don't let everyone drain them, disrespect them, or waste their time. Boundaries are not rude. Boundaries are necessary. When you respect your own limits, others are forced to respect you too. Saying no when needed protects your peace, and peace is priceless. When you're at peace with who you are, you don't chase approval, and that makes you incredibly attractive. And finally, gratitude and faith. Life will knock you down. That's guaranteed. But gratitude keeps your heart right, and faith keeps your mind steady. When you can thank God even during hard seasons, you develop a strength that can't be shaken. You stop breaking under pressure and start bending without snapping. People feel that strength, they feel that hope, and they want to be around it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things on this planet to master, and that is self-discipline. See, everybody wants confidence. Everybody wants to feel strong. Everybody wants to walk into a room and feel like they belong there. But what most people don't understand is this: confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And the bricks you use to build it are called discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's getting up when your bed feels too comfortable. It's saying no to distractions when your goals need a yes. It's choosing the long-term reward over the short-term pleasure. And every single time you do that, something happens inside you. You don't see it right away, but your spirit takes notes. Your mind remembers. You start to realize, I can trust myself. And once you trust yourself, confidence starts showing up without you forcing it. A lot of people walk around loud, flashy, trying to prove something. That's not confidence. That's insecurity wearing a costume. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need approval. It comes from knowing that when things get hard, you won't quit on yourself. That's what discipline gives you. When you show up for yourself day after day, even when nobody is clapping, you develop an inner power that can't be shaken by opinions or criticism. Let me tell you something real. Life does not get easier. Responsibilities increase. Pressure increases. Expectations increase. The only thing that makes you stronger is your ability to handle yourself. Mentally strong people don't wait for motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. And the more you practice it, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Self-discipline also teaches you respect, not just for others, but for yourself. When you keep breaking promises to yourself, you slowly lose self-respect. You start doubting your own word. But when you say, I'm going to do this, and you actually do it, you begin to stand taller. You look people in the eye differently. Your walk changes. Your energy changes. People feel that before you ever open your mouth. And let me clear this up for you. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-love. It's saying, I care enough about my future to sacrifice my comfort today. That's power. That's maturity. That's strength. Weakness is doing what feels good right now and paying for it later. Strength is doing what's hard right now so your future can breathe easier. You don't need to hold your whole life overnight. Discipline grows in small choices. Make your bed. Be on time. Finish what you start. Control what you can control. These little wins stack up, and before you know it, you've built momentum. And momentum builds belief. Belief builds confidence. Confidence builds presence. That's why disciplined people don't beg for respect. They attract it. Ladies and gentlemen, the world will test you. It will tempt you to quit, to settle, to lower your standards. But when you develop self-discipline, you develop an inner power that doesn't rely on circumstances. You stop needing validation because you've already proven something to the most important person in your life, yourself. And when you reach that point, you don't just look strong. You are strong from the inside out. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about emotional control, because this right here is one of the clearest signs of real strength and real attractiveness. Everybody has emotions. You're supposed to feel things. But the difference between someone who is mentally strong and someone who is constantly struggling is who's in charge. Are you in control of your emotions, or are your emotions in control of you? See, when you react to everything, you give your power away. Every insult, every delay, every disappointment starts pushing your buttons, and before you know it, you're tired, angry, and frustrated all the time. Mentally strong people understand something very important. Not everything deserves a response. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes walking away is winning. When you can stay calm while others are losing control, you instantly rise above the situation. Let me tell you something, people are always watching how you handle pressure. They may not say it, but they're taking notes. When you stay composed during conflict, when you don't in anger control your mouth or your actions, people feel safe around you. And safety is attractive. Calm energy is attractive. A person who can regulate their emotions doesn't need to dominate conversations or raise their voice to be heard. Their presence alone carries weight. Now don't confuse emotional control with emotional suppression. Mentally strong people still feel pain, disappointment, and frustration. They just don't let those feelings dictate their behavior. They process their emotions privately, wisely, and with maturity. They don't explode in public and then regret it later. They pause, they think. And that pause can save relationships, opportunities, and reputations. Life will test you. Someone will disrespect you. Something won't go your way. Plans will fall apart. If every setback sends you into emotional chaos, life becomes exhausting. But when you learn to manage your reactions, you conserve energy, you stay focused, you make better decisions. Emotional control gives you clarity, and clarity gives you power. Let me be real with you. Anger feels strong in the moment, but it's actually a sign of lost control. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can lash out. It takes strength to remain steady. It takes confidence to say, I don't need to prove anything right now. When you stop reacting emotionally, you stop being predictable. And when people can't predict your reactions, they can't manipulate you. Emotionally controlled people also know how to listen. They don't interrupt. They don't get defensive over every comment. They absorb information, process it, and respond with intention. That makes them appear wise. And wisdom is attractive. People naturally respect those who can handle tough conversations without falling apart. Here's another truth. When you control your emotions, you control your environment. Your mood stops dictating the mood of your entire day. One bad moment doesn't ruin everything. One negative comment doesn't destroy your confidence. You stay centered. And when you stay centered, you move differently. You talk differently. You carry yourself differently. Ladies and gentlemen, the strongest people in the room are not the loudest ones. They are the calmest ones. Emotional control is not about being cold or distant. It's about being grounded. When you master your emotions, you stop being a prisoner to circumstances and start becoming the author of your own responses. And that kind of inner strength. People can feel it the moment you walk into the room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me speak to you about the power of keeping your word, because this habit right here separates the respected from the ignored, the trusted from the doubted. In a world full of talkers, the person who does they say they're going to do stands out without trying. Your word is not just sound coming out of your mouth. It is your signature. It tells people who you are long before they get to know you. A lot of people don't understand how damaging it is to constantly break promises, especially the small ones. Showing up late, not following through, saying, I'll do it tomorrow, and never doing it. Every time you do that, something breaks, and it's not just other people's trust, it's your own. You start questioning yourself. You start lowering your standards, and over time, you train yourself to believe that your words don't matter. Mentally strong people refuse to live like that. When you keep your word, you create reliability, and reliability creates respect. People know they can count on you. They don't have to remind you, and that kind of dependability is rare. Employers value it. Friends trust it. Partners feel secure around it. You become someone people want in their circle because you bring certainty in an uncertain world. Let me tell you something real. Keeping your word is not about being perfect. It's about being honest. If you say yes when you really mean no, you're setting yourself up to fail. Mentally strong people choose their commitments carefully. They don't overpromise to impress people. They understate and overdeliver. They understand that protecting their word is more important than protecting their ego. There will be times when keeping your word costs you something. It may cost you comfort. It may cost you time. It may cost you convenience. But every time you honor your commitment, you deposit into your character, and character compounds. You don't see the results overnight, but one day you look around and realize people respect you without you demanding it. That respect didn't come from talking, it came from consistency. Attractive people don't beg to be taken seriously. They already are. Why? Because their actions line up with their words. When your behavior matches your promises, people feel safe trusting you. And trust is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are solid, those who don't change based on mood or circumstance. Keeping your word also builds inner strength. When you know you will follow through no matter what, fear starts losing its grip on you. You stop doubting yourself. You stop second guessing. You walk with a quiet confidence because you've proven something to yourself over and over again. That confidence is not loud, but it's powerful. Here's something else. When you're known as a person of your word, opportunities find you. People recommend you. Doors open for you when you're not even in the room. Not because you're the smartest or the most talented, but because you're dependable. Talent can get attention, but character keeps it. Ladies and gentlemen, the strongest promise you would ever keep is the one you make to yourself. When you say you're going to grow, change, or improve, and you actually do it, you transform your self-image. You start seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. And once that happens, your presence changes. People don't just hear your words anymore. They believe them. Ik bedi 4K en out ON 600 woas get your INTR and Kahio. And ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the habit of continuous self-improvement, because this is where mental strength sharpens and true attractiveness matures. Too many people reach a certain point in life and decide they're done growing. They stop learning, stop listening, stop challenging themselves. And the moment that happens, they don't stay the same, they start declining. Mentally strong people understand that growth is not optional. If you're not moving forward, you're slowly moving backward. See, self-improvement is not about competing with anyone else. It's about competing with who you were yesterday. It's waking up every day asking yourself, how can I be a little better than I was before? That mindset alone changes everything. It keeps your mind sharp, your confidence grounded, and your purpose clear. People are naturally drawn to someone who is evolving, someone who isn't stuck complaining about the past, but focused on building the future. Let me tell you something real. The strongest minds are humble. They know they don't know everything. That humility opens the door to learning. When you read, when you listen, when you observe, you give your mind new tools. And the more tools you have, the better you handle life. Problems don't scare you as much because you've trained your brain to adapt. That adaptability is a sign of mental strength, and it's extremely attractive. Self-improvement also forces you to face yourself. You start recognizing your weaknesses, your habits, your blind spots. And instead of getting defensive, you get intentional. You stop blaming people. You stop making excuses. You take responsibility, and responsibility is power. When you accept that your growth is your job, you stop waiting for someone to save you and start building yourself. A lot of people want quick results. They want motivation without discipline, success without sacrifice, confidence without work. Mentally strong people understand that improvement is a process. It's small changes done consistently. Reading a few pages a day, learning a new skill, improving how you communicate, taking care of your body. These small decisions stack up, and over time they transform you. Let me say this clearly. Growth will make some people uncomfortable. When you improve, you outgrow certain conversations, certain habits, certain environments. And that's okay. Mentally strong people don't apologize for evolving. They understand the same to keep others comfortable is a slow form of self-betrayal. Growth may feel lonely at times, but it always leads to a stronger, clearer version of you. Self-improvement also builds resilience. When you're constantly learning, failure doesn't destroy you. You see it as feedback. You adjust and move forward. That mindset protects your mental health. You stop taking every setback personally and start seeing life as a classroom. And people respect those who can fall, learn, and rise wiser than before. Ladies and gentlemen, when you commit to improving yourself, your confidence becomes real, not fake confidence, not loud confidence. Real confidence rooted in effort. You don't need to brag because your growth speaks for itself. Your conversations get deeper. Your decisions get smarter. Your presence gets stronger. And without trying, you become someone people admire, not because you're perfect, but because you're committed to becoming better every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about boundaries, because this habit right here will save your mind, your energy, and your future. A lot of people are tired, stressed, and emotionally drained, not because life is too hard, but because they let everybody have access to them. They say yes when they should say no. They tolerate disrespect to avoid conflict. And slowly, they give away pieces of themselves until there's nothing left. Mentally strong people understand something early in life. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your time is valuable. Your energy is limited. Your peace is priceless. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut people out. They are lines that protect what matters most. When you don't set boundaries, people will decide your limits for you, and trust me, they will always take more than you can afford to give. Let me clear something up. Setting boundaries does not make you selfish. It makes you responsible. Responsible for your mental health. Responsible for your growth. Responsible for your future. Weak people feel guilty for protecting themselves. Strong people understand that if they don't protect themselves, no one else will. You cannot pour into others if you're constantly empty. A lot of folks confuse kindness with tolerance. You can be kind and still say no. You can be respectful and still walk away. You can love people and still refuse to accept behavior that drains or disrespects you. Mentally strong people don't explain their boundaries over and over again. They state them once and let their actions enforce them. Here's the truth. When you start setting boundaries, some people will get uncomfortable. Not because you changed for the worse, but because they benefited from you having none. When you stop over-giving, over-explaining, and overextending, you reveal who truly respects you and who is only using your availability. That's not loss, that's clarity. Boundaries also teach people how to treat you. If you accept late replies, broken promises, and constant disrespect, you are silently telling people it's okay. But when you raise your standards, when you stop tolerating nonsense, your value becomes clear. You don't have to announce it. Your boundaries speak for you. Let me tell you something powerful. Saying no is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You worry about disappointing people. You worry about being misunderstood. But over time, you realize something. Protecting your peace feels better than pleasing everyone. And once you experience that peace, you won't trade it for approval again. Mentally strong people also understand boundaries with themselves. They don't overwork to the point of burnout. They don't ignore rest. They don't stay in situations that drain their spirit. They check in with themselves and adjust. That self-awareness is strength. And people are attracted to those who know their limits and respect themselves enough to honor them. When you set boundaries, your confidence grows. You stop resenting people because you stop over-giving. You stop feeling used because you stop allowing it. Your relationships become healthier because they are built on mutual respect, not guilt or obligation. And respect, real respect, is incredibly attractive. Ladies and gentlemen, boundaries will cost you some people, but they will save you from losing yourself. When you protect your energy, your value becomes undeniable. You walk differently. You speak differently. You move with intention. And without trying to impress anyone, you become someone people respect, not because you're available to everyone, but because you are solid within yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about gratitude and faith, because this habit right here is what keeps a person standing when life is doing everything it can to knock them down. You can have discipline, control your emotions, keep your word, improve yourself, and set boundaries, but without gratitude and faith, pressure will eventually wear you out. Mentally strong people are not strong because life is easy for them. They're strong because they've learned how to see blessings, even in difficult seasons. Gratitude changes the way your mind works. When you're grateful, you stop focusing on what you don't have and start appreciating what you do have. And that shift is powerful. It doesn't mean you're satisfied with where you are. It means you're thankful for how far you've come. People who lack gratitude are always angry, always complaining, always comparing, that kind of mindset weakens you. But when you wake up thankful, your problems don't disappear, they just stop controlling you. Let me tell you something real. Life is unfair sometimes. Good people struggle. Hard work doesn't always pay off immediately. And if you don't have faith, those moments will break you. Faith is believing that even when you don't understand what's happening, something greater is still working in your favor. It's trusting the process when the progress is invisible. That belief keeps your mind steady when everything around you feels uncertain. Gratitude also keeps you humble. When you recognize that everything didn't come from luck alone, you move differently. You treat people better. You stop feeling entitled. And humility is attractive. People are drawn to those who appreciate life instead of constantly demanding more from it. Gratitude makes your presence warm. Faith makes your presence strong. Mentally strong people don't deny pain. They feel it, but they don't live in it. They say, this hurts, but it's not the end. That mindset doesn't come from positivity quotes. It comes from faith. Faith allows you to endure seasons you don't like without becoming bitter. It teaches you patience. It teaches you trust. And patience under pressure is one of the greatest signs of strength there is. Here's something people don't talk about enough. Gratitude protects your mental health. When your faithful, anxiety loses its grip. Fear gets quieter. You stop panicking about tomorrow because you're grounded in today. Gratitude slows your mind down. It reminds you that you've survived before, and you'll survive again. That awareness gives you calm confidence, and calm confidence is deeply attractive. Faith also helps you forgive. When you believe there's a bigger picture, you don't carry resentment as heavily. You let go faster. You heal quicker. You stop letting past hurt define your future. Mentally strong people don't stay stuck in what happened to them. They focus on who they're becoming. Faith gives you the courage to move forward, even when your heart is still healing. Let me say this clearly. Gratitude and faith don't make you weak or passive. They make you resilient. They allow you to keep going without losing yourself. They help you stay kind in a harsh world, hopeful in hard times, and steady under pressure. That kind of inner strength can't be faked, and it can't be bought. Ladies and gentlemen, when you walk with gratitude, you appreciate life. When you walk with faith, you trust life. And when you have both, you stop breaking under pressure and start rising through it. People feel that energy. They see it in how you handle loss, delay, and disappointment. Without trying to impress anyone, you become someone others admire, not because life favored you, but because you never lost your spirit while walking through it.